morning, yellow lines passing through. And I don't know where I'm going, but I know what I'm telling you. Oh, wherever you may go, walk the open road.
Well, the Mother Road has always been part of my life from the time I was old enough to realize. And then as I grew up, Route 66, my folks would say, that's the best road, that Route 66, that's the best highway. And then it was such an asset during World War II. And my husband had some wonderful stories about how supplies and troops were carried on this Mother Road. We didn't call it the Mother Road then, they called it Route 66. And then I got involved in tourism. I was an elderly lady that applied for the job, and I was an import, and I got it. And I had worked for the Chicago Convention and Visitors Bureau many years prior. Anyhow, I would go to the Dixie truck stop, and sorry Dixie truck stop, but you called the Route 66 Museum, and it really was a hallway with nothing but pictures of people that had gotten awards for doing business on Route 66. And I got my assistant and talked to Bob Carls, my city administrator, and said, I have an idea, because my husband had seen an article where the former owners and the present owners were in some kind of a dispute. So he said, this might be a good time to get your foot in the door. So we went down with a camera, a tape measure, took pictures, measured it, came back and showed my boss, and he goes, well, what do you want me to do with this? And I said, I want to get that museum. And he goes, well, where do we put it? And I said, one of our empty buildings downtown. It took us 2 years to get it. And this has turned into be one of the most magnificent museums around. And there were 19,000 people here, and they're from all over the world. And it was interesting to me because I found people from Germany and Holland were the first ones that had a deep interest. And I think, and I know, I don't think, I know, it's because it reminds them of what America was. And the fact that we can keep it this way, keep drawing visitors from all over the world. Our recent influx of visitors has been from Asia and the Far East. I used to carry a red carpet in my trunk of my car, and when coach tours would arrive, I'd spread out that heavy red carpet, and they were so impressed. I made up a name, the Red Carpet Corridor, and the towns of Dwight, Odell, Pontiac, and Chenoa. And we made up a brochure, Kevin McNamara and I did, and it was a pretty sick brochure telling about the Red Carpet Corridor. And not too many people wanted to get involved. Now, we have a slew of towns that are involved. And we have a first weekend in May, and the whole weekend, everyone along the 80-mile or 90-mile route take part in it. And it's wonderful. I was invited to go on a TV station in Peoria early one morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, so I had arisen early, got to the TV station, came back to Pontiac, met a group here at the Route 66 Museum, and then I had to drive to Collinsville for a meeting about the highway. And I went to Collinsville, and I was the oldest tourism director. And all the young girls said, we're going out tonight, we're going to celebrate Route 66. And I had girls, it has nothing to do with my white hair, but I'm going to have dinner in tonight. And I'll go out with you tomorrow night. And I had to give a little speech the next day, and I wanted to get that ready. And so I ordered room service. Room service came. They said they had such a crowd, could I possibly put my dishes out at a certain time? So I ate my dinner, and I got ready for bed, and I had a Route 66, Betty Boop Gets Her Kicks on Route 66 nightshirt. And I put that on and put my hair up in curlers, so I looked good for a Route 66 meeting. Went to put my tray out by the door, and they started sliding, and I grabbed the tray, and the door locked behind me, and I'm in the hallway with a Route 66 Betty Boop Gets Her Kicks. I have no key. It's in the inside. So no phones. I didn't have that with me. So I knocked on the man's door and he opened it and he looked at me from the foot. I have horrible looking feet. And he looked up and he goes, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Please call the desk." And he said, "Okay." And he kept me out there in the hallway. He called the desk, came back and said, "You're in trouble. They won't let you in without any ID." And I said, "I represent Route 66 and I get my kicks and it says my name and someone better get up here real quick." And he said, "Okay, lady, you got to use the phone and tell them that." I walked in the room to call down to the desk, and here there were a group of undertakers studying for a test. And they looked at me like somebody sent me in to be one of their examples. And they said, "Oh, she's on Route 66. And I was like, oh, the whole time I'm embarrassed. Anyhow, to make a long story short, they came up, let me in the room because they took laughing mad. They were laughing like they were insane. And of course I got out of that room and I heard these guys break down and burst out. So Route 66 has supplied me with a lot of fun, even at my age. This holds old America, and it always will hold a special place. This is one of the greatest museums anybody could ever come to. So I'm putting a plug in for the Route 66 Pontiac Museum.